Today in the crypto space, we're getting a lot of volatility. Bitcoin right around $78,500, give or take. However, currently getting a nice bounce. Ethereum right around 1,500, down approximately 4%. And the rest of the crypto space, these altcoins, look at them. Guys, there's a mix of green and red right now after a big dip. Guys, we could get a bit of a recovery. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and I want to focus on Bitcoin and the general market today, because ultimately, if Bitcoin starts to show us a reversal, guys, we could get a major reversal throughout this space. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins. Looking for opportunity, whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. And today I'm going to focus on Bitcoin, and I think it's suitable. Ultimately, we're all worried, right? We're all worried about this space, and it's not about the individual projects at this current moment, because the entire space right now is hurting. And it's not just crypto, in fact, it's the rest of the markets as well. Traditional markets are hurting also. So what we need to really do is focus on crypto as an asset class and focus on the heavyweights in this crypto space, again, beginning by looking at Bitcoin. If we can see that the total market cap at the current moment is still on a downtrend, unfortunately hitting that $2.5 trillion mark, down approximately 3%. However, today getting a bit of relief, and what's most interesting about this relief is the amount of trading volume, which is good because that means market participation is interested in this little V recovery that we're seeing on the lower time frames. Again, the 1 hour fractal. You can see that Bitcoin is getting that tad recovery as we speak, Ethereum as well, and a few other altcoins. Guys, I'm going to refresh this real quick so that we can get the latest and the greatest. As you can see, V recoveries, little V recoveries everywhere, guys. We're not out of the woods just yet. Okay, although we're getting these little recoveries here and these bounces, the reality is there's still in a very clear, well-defined downtrend. And this is something that I've been saying in the last little while, is as long as the daily time frame is in a downtrend, guys, any trades to the upside, you're trying to, pick a bottom. You're trying to basically pick a reversal. The thing is that if the daily's still in control, you got to be a ninja. You got to be able to get in and get out of the markets, take your gains and walk away. And this is the best way to do it in the next little while until we start to see the daily time frame shift. We need to see the daily pivot show us an amazing reversal with market structure that suggests support and then continuation when follow through. And until that happens, guys, we're either going to be trading with the anticipation of lower levels, or again, lower time frames. Guys, be ninjas, get in and get out. Guys, if you're looking for an exchange, I got links in the description. Of course, you're looking at BitNext, we got links below with a great bonus. If you deposit $200, they give you $50 of a trading bonus, and I think that from a percentage wise is a great offer for those newcomers that are coming in, trying to figure out trading and all of that. So I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously, I got other links in the description that you could definitely help out, so go check them out. And if we continue down to this market, we are looking for opportunities, no doubt. Spot trades are also on the table. At this current moment, accumulating on spot is a great idea, given that they're longer term holds, I guess, but without no liquidation, which reduces the risk right now for your portfolio. Now, trading, again, lower time frames only, get down to those 5 minute to the 3 minute and, get in and get out. But accumulating good projects such as Chainlink, AVAX, even SUI, we got so many good ones right now that are in double-digit dips that we start to ask ourselves, ultimately, are we done with this dip? Is this the end of it? Are we going to come down further? And as you can see, there's lots of red here, guys. Tons of opportunity, despite even this little recovery that we're seeing in the last couple hours or so. Okay, guys, so that's that. I want to to jump right into some charts, guys. Let's begin. I know you're here to talk about price action, so let's do that. Let's see what's going on with Bitcoin, because ultimately Bitcoin is the one that is leading the way at the current moment. As long as this trend here on the daily time frame is still making lower lows and lower highs, guys, the trend is your friend until the end. Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. What was super important for me, obviously coming out here on a daily basis and giving you, my thoughts, and obviously none of this is financial advice. I'm just letting you know what I'm thinking and what I'm doing with my own money. And the reality is I'm not getting risk on until the daily time frame gives me the signal. Unfortunately, guys, we still don't have that signal on the daily, despite this buy up, which is really, really nice. We came down to about 74,500 today, and we're getting bought up real quick, very similar to what happened here. Now, we can use this as a fractal. We can use this as an example of what we could expect. You can see this buy up came in very nice volume to the upside. Although the candle did ended up closing red, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it represents the strength of the bulls to reclaim its previous price action. And then all of a sudden, we get that nice reversal to the upside with follow through. However, people that didn't take profit, people that are trying to look for that counter trade against the trend, eventually we're taught a lesson. Either take profit or expect, to hedge against the trend, because the trend is still your friend, coming down for a lower low. Now, the question is this another opportunity? Is this another opportunity to expect another attempt from a higher low perspective or a lower low perspective and coming down, going up for a lower high scenario? Again, respecting the trend. Or is this finally going to be the pivot? Finally, could this be the pivot? Wouldn't be a bad area to start to see a reversal. To be honest, it's a great level. The level of liquidity right here and emotion at these tops are still lingering. Obviously, they're still here. Could we come down to this level, hitting 70, 72, 73, right around this zone? 100%. And if you've been following me for the last little while, you guys know that at this level right here is where I started to de-risk because it was getting risky. I was zoning in on this zone right here. You can check the videos. 72K, 73K is my target, and still is my target, to get into positions at less risk. And we've hit it, guys. I don't know how much more we could wait until we start, getting more bullish. And for me, it's not about waiting. It's not about time. It's not about anything like that. What it is about opportunity. We got to agree that we are definitely in a dip. We are not buying tops, and we're getting into a decent retracement to the downside. And as an opportunity, it is great from a risk to reward ratio, right? So the only concern that I have is literally understanding that we are not getting major signals of a reversal just yet, given that the change of character that we're waiting for here at critical levels is not present on the daily. So I'm going to paint this out for you guys. I know my charts look a little bit messy sometimes, but what can I do, right? We paint pictures here to interpret what we see. And what I'm seeing here is we broke this level, which on the 4 hour makes a lot of sense, and I made this my invalidation for all my long positions that were here. Unfortunately, I got stopped out, and that's great. It's not an unfortunate event because I didn't lose anything. Putting my stop losses into minor profits just to cover some of my fees is great, but ultimately this zone right here, I'm waiting for it to get reclaimed. I'm waiting to see some sort of retracement, something that could break above this zone right here. Okay, I want to see a break above this top. That would be ideal. And a really ideal scenario. Now, in the meantime, we could get a nice recovery, maybe even get rejected, maybe come down for a higher low, maybe then break above this high, and then I'm interested. I'm also interested because this is starting to look like a pivot point structure, and this is starting to look like a confirmation low, a higher low. Then we start breaking previous highs, and things start to look really good for an impulsive change of direction, especially if we start breaking above this, given that there's a volume gap above, and obviously there's resistance here that we got to deal with, but level by level, eventually we will get in a reversal. This is what I was watching right here. With this bottom and this confirmation low, a higher low, I wanted it to break above this. Well, guess what? It didn't happen, guys. We came down to pick up some more bullish bids, and you can see the bids came in hot here with that wick, right? So the bulls came in, stepped in, bought it all up, and now we're potentially going for another impulsive move to see if we can actually break or create a change of character in the structure. We don't want any more lower lows, guys. We're done with lower lows and lower highs. We want to start to see a higher high or a higher low. And that's going to give us that definition of a change, a proper change of direction. It's not just changing trend, it's changing the direction of the market structure. That will give you a lot more confirmations going forward that the market is ready to pivot to the upside, as usually pivot point structures are printed during the creation of a change of character. Pivot point structure, for a lot of new people coming here into crypto space looking for patterns, those are inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eve's patterns. Things like that are great patterns, great structures that show you and tell you a story. And usually the story begins by a divergence. Let's take a look at that. What kind of divergence do we have here on the daily? I'm going to spend some time here on the daily, because if we can get the daily thesis right, guys, everything else will come to fruition. The 4 hour, the 1 hour, everything will start to look good, and we can start getting into positions on lower time frames, no doubt, especially once we see some confluence on higher time frames. We get in from the higher time frames and we slowly shift our way down to the lower time frames to improve our entries. And this is why I'm going to put a little bit of time here. Now, I want you to see here that at one point, we were tracking this, and I'm just going to make this a bit thicker just so that we can keep an eye on him. And then what we're doing right now is we're focusing on this bottom, exclude the wicks, okay? And obviously this current daily candle is not closed. We have about 4 hours and a half still to close that daily candle, and obviously depending how it closes, we might have to reposition this line, but for now, you just leave it like that. It's looking pretty good with that bounce. So we're flatline right there. Now, if we start to look at momentum and trend oscillators, we might be able to tell a story. And if you look at, and I'm going to reposition this and shift this up a second so we can focus on these two lines right here. Okay. And now if you look at what's going on here with the momentum oscillator that I got going on, guys, if you want to know more about this oscillator, I got links in the description for you guys, so check it out. Now, if you're looking at this, which is the momentum, the purple line, you can see that if we can close the purple line or create a bottom of this purple line that is higher than this bottom, we are creating a Class C bullish divergence, which is pretty good, which is what we want. Actually, in fact, that would be a Class B bullish divergence, which is fine. This is what we want, a double bottom on the price action, higher lows on the momentum. That's great. Now, if we came down and we would have to reposition this, that would be a Class A bullish divergence. Okay, so really interesting times to see a divergence and to potentially get some follow through out of this bottom. And this is where a nice double bottom bounce would be really good. Now, volatility unfortunately is oversold. It did a bit of a Uno reverse right here, but it happens, guys, as it happened here and it happens here and so on and so forth, until we can actually break out of that zone and start to see the volatility actually get overbought again. And you look at the last time we got oversold, and remember, momentum is in an uptrend right now, stuck in the chop zone a little bit. And then we're going to see the volatility obviously push from oversold to overbought. Look what happened here. Now we're oversold once again, and we're down here pretty much at previous lows where we were right into this level. Guys, you can see that the market right now could potentially pivot here. And this is why I'm entertaining this, because if it does become a pivot, big picture, we could get that pivot point structure right into this level where we start to look for accumulation. Okay. And it's very interesting here for that to happen. What I don't like is this expansion right here coming in hot. It's not tapered in yet. It's just beginning, unfortunately, but we're going to have to see how that progresses. It could be a small little expansion that is short-lived, showing us again another sign of divergence after this one. And then we come down for a bigger one, and then we come down for a small one. It starts to look like a inverse head and shoulder type of scenario where the major impulse has been done, and although the price is making, you know, double bottom and maybe even a lower low, the expansion to the downside from the bears are showing weakness. That's Class A bullish divergence at very critical levels, given the fact that the daily time frame has gotten oversold. Okay, that's super important. It did hit oversold conditions. Okay, so let me clean this up a little bit because I'm getting carried away here with this artwork and this finger painting here that I got going on. But I also want to bring to your attention the chop zone. Guys, I want you to back test this. Every time we exit the chop zone, we get bigger impulses. We're leaving oversold conditions. We're stuck in the chop zone. Once we leave the chop zone and get overbought, that's usually where we get the bigger expansion. And given the fact that we got basically tapering in the bearish expansion, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get a green expansion here on the daily eventually. It will take some time. Obviously, the uncertainty, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt at the current moment across the markets is going to make us very hesitant. And it's understood. Right now, we know that Trump, the tariffs, the trade wars, this and that is causing a lot of issues. However, guys, having this mentality of looking for this reversal might be able to allow us to position our portfolios a little bit earlier than most. Right? We're not going to want to buy once the market recovers really, really hard with those green candles. We have to start DCing at better levels rather than getting it on pump. So as you can see, Bitcoin showing a lot of strength even as I'm speaking. As you can see, if we close the daily candle like this, it's starting to look pretty good. So not bad of a scenario. Very indecisive, but at least indecisive here on this dip like this shows us that it's very possible for a reversal. So not bad. And then all of a sudden, we start to see what's going on here with the trend oscillator. This expansion right here, as you can see, is much smaller than the rest. And that's great because we can see that this one came in, right, pretty hot, right into this level. And then obviously this one right here is almost, double bottom pretty much. And it's a lot smaller, which means that we're diverging. The expansions coming down over time are getting weaker and weaker, which for me is an ideal scenario because ultimately I want to see these EMAs right here get into the bullish control zone. I want to see them pop right through here and get some purple expansions to the upside with a bit of strength. But we can't deny that since from this level, we've been in a downtrend. Now, is this the beginning of a reversal where we start to get into an uptrend? Guys, this is the daily time frame. Just understand it takes moments for this to actually come to fruition. So we got to have a lot of patience here as we build this pivot point structure on the daily. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's the daily time frame. Now, if we got into the lower time frames, let's take a look at the 4-hour. I know a lot of us use the 4-hour, especially new people coming in. We start looking at the 4-hour time frame. That's a go-to. And what I like about what's currently happening right now is the nice V recovery. It's great. V recovery back above this level is great. If we can hold this zone and stay that way and potentially get into some sort of exchange of hands that shows us a little bit of strength, maybe some sort of consolidation, a bull flag of some sort, a structure that will allow us to put a stop loss below, it starts to look very tempting, obviously, to look for that reversal here. These opportunities such as this one is usually, manipulation. This is usually manipulation where we got the market makers coming down to get a bunch of people stopped out that have stop losses there. Then we get quick recoveries and then a back test coming down here, maybe a nice rounded bottom of some sort. And then we start breaking structure to the upside and back testing and springing where we get support at previous price action. This is where magic really does happen if we do get something like this. It could be possible. And I just want to entertain that possibility, right? I was also looking at this little structure earlier on today. As you can see, this, guys, was equivalent to what I'm seeing down here. Quick response to the downside, rounded top, and then rollover. Quick response to the top, rounded bottom, quick pump. Same thing, different position, different direction. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. The only difference is that we got a bit of a dead cat bounce here that equates to potentially seeing this as a head and shoulders formation. We don't have to get that. This would be an Adam and Eve structure, and that would be super bullish. A nice little accumulation range right into here to confirm it as support. We break the tops and we start running. That would be awesome for a long position. Obviously, smoking fat bowls of opium, that obviously changes things, but we are still in a downtrend on the daily. We could definitely get rejected right here on this white line. That's why I'm keeping that white line right there, because if we continue getting rejected, we could definitely use that as resistance and come down for a lower low. Guys, the bias is to the downside still. I hate to be bearish that way, but the bias is still to the downside. Even though this could definitely turn into a pivot, we're taking lots of risk going all in here. So what do you have to do? You have to mitigate and basically control your risk via position size. Going all in is super risky, but building a small position over time and growing that position over time is not as risky as going all in. So this is something that I really, really want to stress out to you guys, is that literally DCAing is your best opportunity right now. Going on exchanges, buying the dip, accumulating those large caps, number one. Number two, if you're going to trade the markets, get on the lower time frames, the 3-minute, the 5-minute, the 15-minute. Look for structures that suggest reversals, continuations, a change of character, break of structure. Those are the things that you should be looking for, and signs of divergence and all the things that we talk about here on the channel. It should definitely help going forward into navigating this market, guys. I'm still interested in this level. As long as we can hold and if we can break above this, guys, game on. It's likely that we start to see a bigger, better follow through to the upside, and eventually a nice recovery where we hit about 95K, and then we can start, thinking about how we're going to get defensive on the gains. But for now, just understand the trend is your friend until the end. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.